Namaste. I want to talk about why be a vegetarian in the first place. Now, I have been a vegetarian all my life, but that's because of my culture and my background. But more and more people are wanting to become vegetarian. They need to understand why they're doing it. Is it just a fad, a trend, and then you're just going to jump on that bandwagon and begin to compare and compete with others? Is that why you're doing it? Or is there some deeper, more important calling to become a vegetarian? Now, I believe that time dictates everything. In the past, the time was such that if you were to plot time on the y-axis and as it's increasing, in the old days the population was a lot lower than it is today, and then it went to a sort of medium level, and now here we are at 7 billion people on the planet. So as the universe expands and accelerates, our population also booms. Now, if you were to take the next column and look at the type of power we need as time accelerates, to begin with, when we were living in caves and in isolated little pockets, we needed muscle power. That was our main kind of purpose, to really build our muscles so that we could go hunting. Then it was a combination, as we started to increase in population, started to need muscle and mind power. And finally now, post-COVID, I would argue that we need immunity power. So as population increases, social distancing gets smaller and smaller, our needs for our immunity muscle has increased. Now, if you were to look at what are we at war with as time escalates? As time escalates, in the past we were at war with nations, neighboring nations. Then it became a community and family battle. So small communities fighting with smaller communities, as population blossomed. And now I would suggest that we're at war with the cell in the body. So our cells in the body are beginning to, combat with vying time for or place for immunity. So if you look at population boom and then look at how our level of deforestation has kind of moved, then long time ago when populations were low, we were low in population numbers, then the deforestation was equally low, and then it moved to medium, and now we would say that we are deforesting in a very, very increased way. And one could argue that that's what's causing global warming and the situations we see in the biodiversity changing and the ecosystem of the planet changing. And as the population grows, then I would argue that the toxin levels in meat products also rise up, simply because of the ways in which we have to bring meat to life. So all of these things, really, time is dictating that we now really move into vegetarianism. There are many other benefits, but if you're looking at sustainable and life-supporting type of benefits, then the argument is really there on the wall. Just to give you some statistics, 30 kilos of grain which go to feed animals will bring you 1 kilogram of meat to the table. So 30 kilograms of grain, which could have fed 30 human beings, is bringing you 1 kilogram of meat. That doesn't sound right. So if you were to give up eating meat, you could argue that you're feeding another 29 people in the process. And really, if you're looking to move from breakdown health maintenance to preventive health maintenance, then I would argue that if you want to be self-healing, then I would argue that meat eating should be dropped, and you would have a far higher chances of remaining healthy. I'd like to also say that being vegetarian is a consciousness-based model of living. It allows you to become non-violent, and it's the base for blissful lives. It allows you to be totally integrated and authentic and responsible for your actions. And that's only going to build more self-confidence in you when you feel that way. So there is a lot of subtler things that happen that we can discuss. But I would also argue that it's that one habit. If that could be broken, then all other habits which are life negative can also topple. At least that's what I've seen with people I have lived with in my life who've gone from meat eating to a vegetarian lifestyle. And the final thing I would say, it's not the least thing, but our bodies respond to thoughts of sentient beings. So if we're going to ingest the thoughts of a killed animal that is, going through torture and suffering, our body responds to those thoughts. And I would argue psychologically probably creates all sorts of fears in us. So I'm not here to convert you or, necessarily challenge your thinking. I'm just giving you my view on why moving to a vegetarian lifestyle at this time in life, this particular cycle of life, makes a lot of sense. So join me. I'll show you ways of moving from meat eating to fabulous vegetarian ways of living, and guaranteed you will not miss meat because it's such a rich, dynamic culture. We just haven't been exposed to how to prepare our meals using wonderful products that nature gives us. So I look forward to continuing this discussion throughout the program, and I look forward to assisting you to move from, not necessarily completely move, but move slowly from a largely meat-eating diet to a predominantly vegetarian diet. And I would argue that you should just go all out and give it all up completely. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you soon.